Got a recap match here versus Rhinos. It's a strange build, but this is a really crazy match, so I just wanted to get this on camera. Didn't record it, so I'll do a recap video here. Didn't know what we were up against, so this is our first league running Echoing Deeps, the new card from the new set. We just named Wasteland Blind, since we have kind of a vulnerable mana base hand here, only one green source. And that card, Bloodbraid Marauder, uh, lets them cascade into something as long as they have delirium, which means 4 or more card types in their graveyard. So they got kind of lots of cool cycling cards. Very interesting build. It's got some counter magic as well, as you will see. I was able to set up an early Glacial Chasm. Luckily, I had it in hand. Green Sun Zenith. They cycled Street Wraith in response. Cycled another card in response. A second Street Wraith. And finally found the Force of Will. Lots of power on board at this point. I just want to make land drops. Try it again with the Reclaimer. And I copied Thespian Stage with Echoing Deeps because I needed to have another Cloudpost essentially. So this turn I was able to play Cloudpost and copy it. And they turned my Elvish Reclaimer into a 3/3 Frog Lizard token with no abilities. I believe they used this card, Incubation Incongruity, which helps them dig for business and also answers opposing threats. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So yeah, that really helped them dig for cards like Bloodbraid Marauder. At the end here, got another Cloudpost. Kind of played it safe here since they have so much power on board. I really needed to keep the Glacial Chasm around. And from here, I think it's pretty much stabilized. Cast a Prime Time. They dig for counter magic. Fetch a Mystic Sanctuary. Put Force of Will on top. Cycle their creature and are able to Force of Will our Prime Time, but still there's enough mana to cast the One Ring. So yeah, lots of card draw, lots of cycle in their deck. Combined with Mystic Sanctuary, that can be pretty huge. So the card they found has cycling. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of target player's library, then put them back in any order. So I think that's mainly there for cycling to get another card type in the graveyard for Bloodbraid Marauder, and also to draw cards and pitches to Force of Will. So then we cast a Prime Time again. This time they have 1 card in hand, so they're not able to Force of Will it. get double Glimmer Post. Oh, we get a second Glacial Chasm here. Sacrificing our basic forest. And I think the idea is at the end of our turn we can make another Cloudpost at the other Glacial Chasm. That way we can alternate if we have to reset again. Oh, sorry, we wouldn't be able to reset again because it keeps its counters. Exile both of their red sources with Oodalog. We got a Tabernacle out, making them very taxed. I'm not sure what they're digging for here at this point, but they end up conceding. Game 2, we sided out 3 Primeval Titans because inevitable betrayal is inevitable. Mulled down to 6. Our opponent leads out with a once upon a time, finds some land, and starts digging for creatures. We led on a Drownyard Temple, a very cool new card in the deck. I'm really liking it. Looking for an Elvish Reclaimer, Green Sun Zenith. Shout out to Oni from the Cloudpost Discord for adding Drownyard Temple. I believe it was his innovation. So our opponent finds a Blood Moon, which is backbreaking potentially. We end up dropping a land, hitting our 3rd land, and our opponent casts Inevitable Betrayal, finds our Emrakul. And at this point, it feels like we're probably losing the game. But we exile a Elvish Spirit Guide, cast Once Upon a Time, find our Besieju who endures, sacrifice our Drownyard Temple for a basic forest, and are able to then blow up our opponent's Blood Moon, crop rotation for Caracas. Our opponent digs for a counter magic and doesn't find it. So we end up bouncing our Emrakul back to our hand with Caracas. So that was the idea behind leaving the legendary creatures in here and taking out the Primeval Titans, because we wouldn't be able to do that with the Primeval Titans. We would need to play something like Homeward Path, which I have been considering lately. So that was an absolutely insane play. Insane top deck, insane. It was just wild. It felt really good. Feels like we're gonna stabilize here. Our opponent does have a lot of cards in hand. They get a second Inevitable Betrayal, and I think they could have targeted themselves here instead of us, because that would have shuffled their Inevitable Betrayals back into their deck. They could have probably run us over. They did get rid of our Elvish Reclaimer there, but we did have a One Ring to help us stabilize. One Ring has just been insane in buying us so much time. Basically, it's saving us 9 damage there and draws us into another ring. It's a pretty ridiculous magic card. There's lots of those lately. So it's nice that Green Post gets one of them. Play a second ring. Draw another card. Resolve a carpet of flowers. And from here you can see it's just gonna snowball for us. We're even threatening dark depths here as well. So we find Golos from the top of our deck, draw into another one ring, and once upon a time finds us a Cloudpost. At this point, it just feels safe to play it slow. Our opponent casts Forcible, countering our Golos. That might have been a misplay there. I should have possibly not even cast that once upon a time and just saved the mana to be able to cast the one ring. But here I just make a Dark Depths. It's kind of a risky play. Our opponent ends up bouncing it. Oh, sorry, making it into a 3/3 Frog Lizard token, which still ends up being pretty useful because it gets rid of their Shardless Agent. Saves us some life. We're at 7 at this point. We untap, get a Glimmer Post. So we found Elvish Reclaimer again. And I think here we just want to ramp enough so that we eventually hit a Emrakul. Our opponent hard casts Force of Will on our Carpet of Flowers. We play Veil of Summer in response, draw into a Glimmer Post, resolve our Carpet of Flowers, and our opponent just scoops. Essentially from here, we had next main phase, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We would have been able to cast our Emrakul and win the game. That was pretty wild match. I know it went a little fast there. I probably missed some of the commentary, but hopefully you enjoyed that. You know, slow it down, rewind it, rewatch it. Leave me a comment if there's any lines you think I missed or anything. Consider subscribing if you guys like this content. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you again soon.